Imposter syndrome affects so many of us, yet is often left unspoken. Whether you're a writer, an entrepreneur, or a high achiever, this feeling of self-doubt can creep in to the best of us and make us question our accomplishments, despite all evidence to the contrary. My guest in this episode will break this down and tell us what imposter syndrome really is, how it affects high achievers, and most importantly, what you can do about it. If you've ever felt like you are faking it despite your success. Welcome to the Minute Mastery Podcast, a conversational productivity and time management podcast where busy authors and entrepreneurs are inspired to create time for what truly matters. I'm your host, Ngozi Edema. I'm a time management coach, writer, and entrepreneur. Here, you are encouraged to turn your minutes into milestones and to create at least 1 hour a day working on your goals without feeling overwhelmed. And since you are here, I thought I'd let you know of a storybook to gift your favorite kids. Once upon a time, and they lived happily ever after. Children love those phrases. I love them too, and I suspect you may love them too. As a mom, I've spent hours reading and listening to my children read their favorite stories, and now I write stories too. Here is one of them you may want to check out. The Proud Sunflower. It is the story of Princess Sanzu, the Sunflower Princess, a princess loved by all, but who got into trouble. Within the pages of The Proud Sunflower, you encounter what real beauty is. Your kid will love the beautiful story and powerful illustrations. The Proud Sunflower serves as a gentle reminder that we all need to stand on the shoulders of others to succeed. So, read this story with your little ones and allow it to illuminate the universal language of empathy, forgiveness, and personal growth. The Proud Sunflower is a top book of parenting, morals, and responsibility, and it's available on the Kindle store and on paperback formats. Excellent for beginner readers. Click in this episode show notes or in the description on YouTube to order yours. And check out my other storybooks to read with your kids, or gift a child a storybook if you do not have kids of your own. Tara Halliday is an expert imposter syndrome coach and author of best-selling books Outsmart Imposter Syndrome and Unmasking the Coach's Guide to Imposter Syndrome. You are welcome to the Minute Mastery, Tara.
I'm delighted to be here, Ngozi. Thank you.
So, imposter syndrome is something that affects the best of us. And you're an expert coach on imposter syndrome. I wish I had you years ago. So, what is imposter syndrome? Because some of us are not familiar with that term. What is imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome is the secret feeling of being a fraud or not quite good enough when you're not a fraud, right? So you're successful, but you feel like you're not successful. And with it comes this fear of being found out. And that is the essence of imposter syndrome. It's this self-doubt that maybe I'm not quite good enough. And it affects over 70% of high achievers. So you mentioned authors and entrepreneurs, absolutely, if not the numbers even higher.
You see, on my show, I've mentioned this before because imposter syndrome is something that I have personally struggled with for years. So I run this online shop where I served African food. Years ago, Come Dine With Me invited me to, that they're going to come over to buy ingredients for the show, that one of the guests will be coming. And I was terrified. I said to myself, no, it's not your usual kind of shop. Please don't come. When I look back, I said to myself, that was a very stupid thing to do. Because for them to even have found me online shows that I was doing something that made them contact me. But I didn't see it that way. All I saw was, I'm a fraud, I'm not a proper shop, I'm not this, I'm not that. And because of that, I let an opportunity like that slip by me. So it is something that has affected me over the years. And so when I was preparing for this interview, I said to myself, this is something that everyone should be talking about, because we work so hard to be successful at what we do. And then when it's time for us to get a little bit of commendation or even a mention or a reward for our hard work, we run away from that, which is really sad. So who does this affect? Imposter syndrome. Who does it affect the most?
Yeah, well, I think that it affects a very large number of people, right? Over 70%. I think people notice it more when they start to get some success. Just like you did with your shop, you've been recognized by the BBC or national TV, ITV, I don't know which one.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. And you've been recognized by this major television network, and they were sourcing ingredients and they found you. And so that's a level of success. So it's not that you were a beginner. It's not that you didn't have the food sitting in your garage. None of that. It's that's where you notice it, because not accepting that, not taking that opportunity that you had, you really, really notice it. If you were a beginner, it's not about being a beginner. If you were a beginner, then it wouldn't have even, this would be all the things you couldn't do. But because you were successful, they identified, and you then turned down an amazing opportunity. That is where imposter syndrome is like. So it shows up, and the higher level of success you get, the more it shows up, because you are successful. And logically, you're successful, right? You're capable. You're competent. You knew that your food ingredients were amazing and they would have made a delicious meal with them, right? So, but it's internally then you feel maybe you're not quite good enough. Who am I to be doing this? Yeah. I don't deserve this. I'm not quite good enough. And so there's this internal fight between what you know and being successful and what you feel as this self-doubt.
Thank you. Like I said, I wish I had somebody like you sitting by me telling me, you know what, you can do it.
You know what, Ngozi, the average age of of my clients that I work with to get rid of imposter syndrome is 45. And one of the most common things they say is, I wish I'd known about this 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. But 25-year-olds feel like, typical 25-year-olds feel like, well, I'm just starting out. Maybe this is because I'm beginner. Maybe when I get more experience or more promotions or more success or more books, I write more books, then I will start to feel differently. And it's only till they get to 45 or so that they realize that it hasn't gone away. They've got more successful, but it never proves you're good enough. Meryl Streep, for example, she is the most awarded actress on the planet. She's got more awards than anyone else. A fantastic actress. Before she starts every single film, she doubts herself, and she says to herself, why would people come and want to come and watch me? Right? That is imposter syndrome. That is, no matter how high you go, you can never out-succeed imposter syndrome. It never proves it. So the problem is people carry this and hope it'll go away and hope it'll go away. And it just doesn't. And the cost of imposter syndrome is very high.
It is high. It is high. The cost. I don't want to think of the things I've missed out on over the years because of my imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So the cost is high. So how does imposter syndrome hold high achievers back? So we're talking about costs now.
Yes.
So how does it hold them back because of this?
Well, there's three things you'll notice with imposter syndrome. One is the imposter syndrome thinking, which is the self-doubt, feeling like you just got lucky, the self-criticism, the who am I to be doing this? I don't deserve this. That kind of thinking is really distracting, right? Because you can't be present because you've got this little voice going, yeah, but who are you to say that? So first it's distracting, and then that creates stress, internal stress. The stress comes out physiologically into the nervous system response, fight, flight, and freeze. These are, emergency response states, which cause massive stress in the body. They make you think less clearly. So your IQ, when you're stressed like this, your IQ goes down by 13 points. Your creativity goes down by 50%. We're talking to entrepreneurs and authors. 50% drop in your creativity is huge. It makes you emotionally reactive so that you're not as calm and you're not as present and you make poorer decisions. The effect in that sense is huge. And then this stress, this internal stress, anxiety, overwhelm that comes with it, then drives a third set of behaviors, which is a third set of symptoms, which is behaviors. So things like procrastination, which is what you help with, right? Perfectionism, over preparing, comparing, avoiding opportunities, just like you did with Come Down With Me, maybe not speaking up enough for yourself, feeling like you just get one more qualification and then you'll finally feel good enough. And then you've got this whole long list of qualifications and it still doesn't solve the problem. So all of those things, they affect your productivity, you being present, they stress you out, and then you judge yourself, and then you're back with that imposter syndrome thinking, I'm not good enough. That is a terrible cost of imposter syndrome.
It's not something I wish for anyone.
No. Well, that's why I do what I do. I find it heartbreaking. I
It
really
is
do.
heartbreaking. It
Yeah.
is heartbreaking.
Fantastic, talented people will have imposter syndrome hold them back, drag them down, and sometimes leads to burnout. It's a big deal.
Yeah. I know for me, the burnout and procrastination has been huge for me, because if you don't think you're good enough, you have to procrastinate and tell yourself, okay, I'll do it later when
Yeah.
I'm good enough.
Yeah.
And that later never comes.
Yeah.
It never comes. I want to ask you something. Have you been sitting on a creative project or book idea for months, maybe even years? Because life just wouldn't slow down. If that sounds like you, I created something just for you. It's my standard 6-week coaching package, a focused, personalized experience designed to help you finally finish what you started. Here is how it works. For 6 weeks, we meet once a week, just you and I. You'll get a custom time plan that fits around your real life. Not some cookie cutter schedule, but something that actually works for you. You will also get email check-ins from me, because I know how easy it is to fall off the track when no one is checking in. This is perfect for busy moms, writers, and entrepreneurs, or anyone who is juggling life and a dream at the same time. So, if you've been waiting for the right time, consider this your sign. Let's turn those minutes into milestones. Head over to this episode's show notes to enroll or learn more about this program. So, what causes imposter syndrome? Why do people do this?
Yeah. So it's not what you think, I think, is the starting point. So people talk about mindset. Well, it's not a mindset thing. People talk about, a terrible experience when you're a child. It's nothing to do with that. Actually, the root cause of imposter syndrome is a belief, an unconscious belief, which is why we don't see it. Unconscious belief that your worth as a person depends on what you do. You do something good, you are good. You do something bad, you are bad. So just like, raising children or even telling the dog, bad dog, for doing something, you're equating who you are with what you do. And that is a belief that the vast majority of people are not taught, not unlearned. I'll say not unlearned. So I'm going to go a little bit further if that's okay. So when you're
Fine.
Good. When you're a baby, you have all this information coming into all of your senses, and it's just one big mush. There's no structure to it. You can't understand things because you haven't categorized things. When you get to about 18 months old, you start to develop a sense of self, a separate self. I am separate from the dog, from the table, from my parents, from my siblings. At that moment, that should be where we separate our worth, who we are, from what we do. But because this belief is so ground into all societies all around the world, then we're not taught that these are separate. So we go through our lives thinking they're the same, unconsciously thinking they're the same. And so you can see that even when somebody's successful, then the doubt that they might be it might all fall apart tomorrow, right? They might not be able to reproduce. It causes an awful lot of stress. That is the root cause of imposter syndrome. So
So babies don't have imposter syndrome.
no, babies
Yeah,
don't have imposter.
because they don't have to. They've not categorized things. So it depends on the category that we put ourselves in.
It's that we didn't learn that who we are is not what we do, or what we do is who we are. That is the missing link, if you like. So
yesterday,
separating your actions from your worth, right? As a child can make a mistake and do something wrong. Maybe what they did was bad or wrong, but it doesn't mean they are bad or wrong. And that's the difference. And when you carry that, your worth and actions being the same, that'll give you imposter syndrome, because there'll be part of your brain that's always going to say, well, if I don't do well, then things are going to fall apart. People are going to find me out. What if I don't? Even when they're massively successful.
wow. It reminds me of watching a movie with my daughter yesterday. We went to the cinema, and the main character, Lilo, she did some stuff, and she said, "Am I bad?" And they said, "No, you're not bad." Sister said, "You're not bad, but you do bad things sometimes."
That's it. And I love that movies are starting to bring that understanding. Because the understanding about that particular belief was identified in the 1950s by Dr. Carl Rogers, which is one of the granddaddies of personal psychology. But at that time, they thought that when you got to an adult, you couldn't change your brain. So it's kind of like, sorry, it's just how things are. You're stuck with that belief. But now we know we can change that.
We can change it. So I can do some bad stuff. I can make some bad decisions sometimes, but I am not bad.
Yes. And I know it sounds like a simple concept, but our internal beliefs is the opposite. That if we do something bad, then we are bad.
We are bad.
And then if, it feels like a really terrible thing internally.
Good. So you mentioned that about 70% of us may be going through this syndrome, imposter syndrome. So what can you do about it? What can we do about it? What will somebody listening to this episode now start doing about it?
Right. So there's two things. So you can either manage the symptoms. So this is like you've got a cut and you put a Band-Aid on it, right? You put a plaster on it, right? You can manage the symptoms, you can cover it up. Or you can get rid of it, which is, have the stitches or the surgery, whatever it needs to heal the issues. So the work that I do is changing that belief. It's a 90-day program, 1-to-1 root cause change that belief, and then it's gone forever. And then you forget to doubt yourself, which is really exciting.
Wow.
So because it's gone, that driver, that belief has gone, and then you forget to doubt yourself. So with the opportunities, you forget to say, oh, who am I to do this? You look at it and go, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I'll explore that. And so you approach it in a completely different way. You're not holding yourself back by thinking I'm not good enough, which is wonderful. So that's how you get rid of it. Now, what you can do, there's very few tips, because the root is this belief that we have to change it.
Yeah.
There is one of them. So one of the symptoms of imposter syndrome, the behaviors, is comparing, right? When we compare ourselves to other people. And typically with imposter syndrome, we look at other people and they all seem to be doing successfully, fantastically, and they're brilliant and they're confident, and you think they've got no problems in the world. And then we look at ourselves and our internal doubt, and we feel really, really different from them. We feel isolated. We feel even worse about ourselves. So that comparing has a strong effect. Now, some people say, well, stop comparing, but your brain is wired to compare. Your brain is always looking out for differences. If you're driving along past a field of hundreds or thousands of cows and one is bright purple, your brain will go, look at that. It goes straight to, because your brain's always looking out for danger. So your brain is always looking for differences. So here's what you can do. When you notice yourself comparing and starting to feel bad about yourself, flip it, deliberately say, okay, how am I similar to that person? What experiences do we have in common? What values do we have in common? How are we the same as the other person? And you can make a list. And the longer that list is, the more you do that, the more you'll feel you're like them. You'll feel similar. You'll feel more like you belong and less alone and less isolated. So that's.
I have never looked at this strategy before, like making a list of how I am similar.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And so when you do that, it makes you comfortable with the other person. And then the differences don't seem to mean
Obvious.
anything about you. And then
Yeah.
somebody who's massively successful, it becomes an inspiration to you rather than a self-criticism that you're not where they are.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you've talked about the symptoms and you've talked about what we can do about it. Um, but there's sometimes still some people will still say, I have tried everything and still I cannot get over this because healing is different for everybody. With one person, just base will be okay. With another person, it would be okay. They need a little bit more help. So in your program, if this audience is somebody is trying to get into your program, what do they hope to achieve?
Yeah, so we start off with a session of, what would you like to achieve? And it's very personal for everyone. Somebody might be writing a book, somebody might be going to launch a product, somebody might be going to start a podcast, for example.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. So those are the things that we recognize that imposter syndrome will impact. Right? It'll impact your ability to make decisions, your creativity. It'll reduce your IQ. It'll mean you're less efficient. It mean you overwork. It'll mean you're more stressed. So all of those things will impact whatever it is you want to do. The outcome of changing the beliefs that drives all of that is always the same. People feel calm under pressure. They feel, like I said, that effortless confidence that, you forget to doubt yourself. They automatically become more present with other people. They're not worried they don't take things personally anymore, and they're more resilient. And that is absolutely the same thing that everybody gets. Now, how it shows up in their podcasts and in their product launch and things like that is going to be a bit different, but that's what everyone gets. The final solution or final end point of getting rid of imposter syndrome is deep self-acceptance.
Deep self-acceptance.
Yeah. It's phenomenal because you can see when you accept yourself, you don't judge yourself. Right? When you accept yourself, then it doesn't matter what other people think about you. So you are free from other people's opinions and criticisms and judgments. It's a marvelous place to be.
Wow. It's already sounding refreshing to me. Okay. So where can they find you?
Yeah, so my books are everywhere that books are sold. You can look at them at Amazon. That's Outsmart Imposter Syndrome and Unmasking. And then I'm on LinkedIn. So that's my major social media platform. So that's Tara Halliday PhD. And then my website, which is completesuccess.com.
So all your links will be on this episode's show notes. And thank you very much for coming to the show. I find it insightful, and I'm sure many people will find it insightful because imposter syndrome is something we should all be talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's something that affects most of us and it stores our productivity. If we're not being creative, then we can't do anything. We can't empower ourselves. So we should all be
Exactly.
talking about imposter syndrome and
Yeah.
how we can get out of it.
Yeah, and if somebody's curious, is this imposter syndrome? There is a free quiz that's going to be in the show notes, so they can take the quiz. And if you get a score over 50%, then imposter syndrome is showing up. And if it's over 62%, then it's going to be having an impact in your performance, whatever it is you do. So it's worth taking the quiz.
Okay, so I would make sure that that quiz goes into the show note. They need to do it. I will be doing it myself later today.
Lovely.
Thank you very much, Tara, for coming to the show. And before I leave, I want to let you know of one of my favorite productivity tools, Todoist. Whether you're running a business, raising a family, writing a book, or doing all three, Todoist is an app that helps you organize your tasks by project, priority, and even energy levels. So you can set recurring reminders, create custom labels like at errands or at deep work, color code what is urgent versus what can wait, sync across all your devices so your plan is always in your pockets. It's like a personal assistant. So if you're tired of rewriting your to-do list every day and want something that helps you focus on what matters most, give Todoist a try. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's flexible enough to work with your brain and your busy life. Check out this episode show notes for my special link to get you started on Todoist. And thanks for tuning into the Minute Mastery podcast. If you have found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who could use more time in their day, and remember to subscribe and leave us a review. Until next time, you are in control of your time and you've got this.